Hi everyone, there's a story in the UK that has been in the public eye now for about 2 weeks, and to be honest, I'm surprised I haven't covered it. I think had I not been busy with work, I would have, but um, this story has infuriated me, and it's probably a good job I didn't do a video about it because I would probably scream at the camera and start swearing again, although I'm trying desperately not to do that. The story surrounds a young boy called Billy Caldwell who suffers really badly with epilepsy. He has up to 100 epileptic seizures a day, which must be horrifying for him. And I can't imagine what his family and his mother must be going through just watching his son have these seizures and be helpless because the medication that we give these children, a lot of this medication doesn't work, and it has huge side effects. Some of this medication does. Most most people with severe epilepsy are on multiple drugs. However, there is one drug that more and more studies and more people are coming out to say this is a miracle for children with epilepsy, and that's cannabidiol. I'll just go back to, this is the story, how the story started on the 21st of May. This is the BBC. Billy Caldwell, GP, says ethical issue in not allowing cannabis. Oh dear me, it infuriated me, this did. A GP who prescribed medicinal cannabis to a County Tyrone boy to treat uncontrollable epilepsy has been told he cannot do so again. Right, okay, it's not medicinal cannabis for a start. I will come back to that. I'll carry on reading this for the start there. In 2017, 12-year-old Billy Caldwell became the first person in the UK to receive the NHS prescription. Dr. Brendan O'Hare said there is an ethical issue in not allowing Billy to have medicinal cannabis. His mother, Charlotte Caldwell, said his seizures had dramatically reduced while taking cannabis oil. Last week, when she went to renew the prescription, she was told it would not be possible. So it's not medicinal cannabis. It's not cannabis at all. It's a byproduct of it. It's an oil. It's cannabidiol. It's CBD oil. This has minute traces of THC in at best. Many of it doesn't have any THC. THC is the drug from cannabis that gets you high. So there are no side effects at all. And it has been proven time and time again to be excellent in some cases of severe epilepsy in children. There are many YouTube videos on it showing huge success. So the fact that this boy saw a severe drop in his amount of epileptic fits and was able to actually have some sort of life under it is not surprising, to be quite honest. Not to me, because I've followed it for quite some time now. This article went on to say, I just want to give the outline of the story, how it all happened. After initially prescribing the medicinal cannabis, Dr. O'Hare had been told by the Department of Health and the Health Board last year that he should not continue to do so. So he was told by the Department of Health not to do so. The Department of Health in Northern Ireland said it did not comment on individual cases. They always use that, don't they? It's an easy get-out clause. But added that cannabis is a Class B controlled drug and has not yet been licensed in the UK as a medicine. However, an application by a specialist clinician based in the UK to prescribe the Schedule 1 controlled drug, a Schedule 1 controlled drug on the basis of relevant medical and scientific evidence and guidance may be considered within existing legislative provisions and appropriate clinical supervision arrangements. No such clinically supported applications have been received by the department, he confirmed. Billy Caldwell was given the first treatment in the USA by an epilepsy expert. His mother told BBC Radio 5 Live that until that point, Billy was having up to 100 seizures a day. I cannot even imagine how that would affect me if my child, my young boy who I gave life to, was having 100 seizures a day. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine it. And then to finally get a drug that is illegal in the UK but shouldn't be, let's face it, it just shouldn't be. To see those seizures come down to next to nothing and then having it taken away I cannot imagine how angry Charlotte Caldwell would be. Miss Caldwell said the effect on her son was miraculous. For Billy, it's controlling his life-threatening seizures. This is what a small bottle is doing for him. So it was great. And then I saw this. This was last night before I went to bed. Billy Caldwell could die unless given cannabis oil, says Mum. What? He could die. A severely epileptic boy suffered 2 more seizures overnight, his mother, who wants to continue treating her son with cannabis oil, has said. Charlotte Caldwell from County Tyrone said she was full of hope that a solution would be found. Her son Billy Caldwell, 12, began using cannabis oil in 2016 to control his seizures, but his most recent supply was confiscated at Heathrow Airport. A Home Office statement said it was deeply sympathetic to the extreme condition, the extremely difficult condition that Billy and his family are in. No, you're not. No, you're not sympathetic. Just give him the bloody drug. It's not. It's not like he's trying to take cocaine or he's trying to take heroin. If it was heroin, it'd be no problem because you'd just give him opioids. Heroin. You can get heroin on prescription, but you can't get CBD. Ugh. It made me so mad seeing this story last night. I thought, I've got to do a video about this. And then there's an update on this, so stay tuned. Billy is in the care of medical professionals who are best placed to access the care and treatment that he requires, it said. The Home Office is contacting Billy's medical team. If the team treating Billy advise a particular course of urgent action, the Home Office will carefully consider what options are available to help facilitate that advice. What options are available? Give him the oil! That's what I was shouting at the screen yesterday. And then this, an update just half an hour ago on the BBC website, just before I went to do the video, which was great. Cannabis oil now, epileptic boy will have supply returned. A severely epileptic boy will be given back medicinal cannabis oil that was confiscated from his mother at customs, the Home Secretary has said. At least the BBC got it right in this article. It's not medicinal cannabis, it's cannabis oil. Big difference. Billy Caldwell, 12, would receive the oil after doctors made it clear it was a medical emergency, Sajid Javid said, who's the Home Secretary. Billy's mother, Charlotte Caldwell from County Tyrone, said they had achieved the impossible but called for the oil to be freely available. No, you're wrong there, Charlotte. They haven't achieved the impossible. They've just done the entirely possible and sensible thing to do. This is a row that it's just give him the oil. Just give him it. It's not impossible. It's entirely possible and easy to do, and they've just refused to do it because of bureaucratic red tape. Billy began using the cannabis oil in 2016 to control his seizures. That goes back on a previous article that I've just read you from the BBC that said it was 2017. The cannabis oil, which contains a substance called tetrahydrocannabidiol, THC, is illegal in the UK but available elsewhere. Billy's most recent supply, which Miss Caldwell had tried to bring into the UK from Canada, was confiscated at Heathrow Airport on Monday, and he was admitted to hospital before Mr. Javid said it would be returned. Miss Caldwell said, I truly believe that somewhere in the Home Office there's someone with a heart, and I truly believe that Billy was pulling on their heartstrings. But she said Billy's little body had been completely broken and his little mind. No other family should have to go through this sort of ordeal, travelling halfway around the world to get medication which should be freely available, and then having it taken off you when you come back in. My experience leaves me in no doubt that the Home Office can no longer play a role in the administration of medication for sick children in our country. Damn right. Damn right. It should be the goddamn experts and the medical practitioners. That's who should choose. Not some bureaucrats at the top who are worried that, it might infringe and it might stop some actual medicine being used that's useless, but it makes money. Children are dying in our country and it needs to stop now, she said. Mr. Javid said he had issued the license to allow Billy to be treated with the cannabis oil after discussions with Billy's medical team. This is a very complex situation, but our immediate priority is making sure Billy receives the most effective treatment possible in a safe way, he said. My decision is based on the advice of senior clinicians who have made clear this is a medical emergency. Right, Sajid Javid, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. This is a very complex situation, he says. No, it's not. It's a very simple situation. Give him the CBD oil. It's that simple. Give him the CBD oil. He's gone through all this turmoil for nothing. Nothing. For bureaucratic red tape because you won't legalise cannabis. That's what it comes down to. Now, at the bottom of these articles, I've left this till the end. The bottom of these articles, the BBC always puts this: does cannabis have medicinal benefits? CBD and tetrahydrocannabidiol, THC, are two types of cannabinoids found naturally in the resin of the marijuana plant. A cannabis-based drug called Sativex has been licensed in the UK to treat MS. It contains THC and CBD. Sativex. Weird. Doctors could, in theory, prescribe it for other things outside of this license, but at their own risk. MS patients prescribed Sativex who resupply it to other people also face prosecution. And then very at the bottom it says, another licensed treatment is Nabilone. It contains an artificial version of THC and can be given to cancer patients to help relieve nausea during chemotherapy. Why are they trying to manufacture something in a lab, in a laboratory, in white coats that can be put in a pill when you can grow it in the frigging ground? These goddamn pharmaceutical companies, they drive me nuts. You can grow it. I've done it myself. It's easy. You don't need to have men in white coats in a lab try and produce it. You don't. I'm really glad that Billy Caldwell has finally got this medicine this week, after 4 or 5 days of not having it, seeing his seizures increase and being hospitalised because of stupidity at the Home Office. Just absolute stupidity. I'm really glad that he's got this medication back. But he should never have been taken off him in the first place. Why? Because marijuana, CBD oil, THC, call it whatever you want, as long as it's the plant. It should be legalised. There are more. This is amazing. I'll put it up here if I find it. There are more people who grow cannabis on a large level now. There are more cannabis plant factories in the UK than there are policemen. That's including people who rent out houses. People rent out houses and just, you know, put silver foil all around the room, put some grow lamps in there, put some ventilation, and grow, you know, several plants in each room, or dozens of plants in each room, and they just rent the house out. That way, you know, when they're going there, they can watch and make sure that the police aren't, you know, if the police do catch anybody, it's rarely the person at the top they catch. It's just the person who goes in there and checks on the plants. But there are more of those types of marijuana factories, if you want to call them that, in this country, than there are policemen. How are they ever going to win that war? How are they ever going to win that war? And not only that, why are they even fighting it? Marijuana in the UK, legalise it, tax it, regulate it. When you look at how states like Colorado in America have thrived under legalisation of cannabis, it amazes me. Well, it doesn't amaze me. It really fills me with hope that, you know, we could do this. It's not nearly as bad as cigarettes. Not nearly as bad as cigarettes. Not nearly as bad as alcohol. And those two things kill people on a daily basis. Hundreds, thousands of them. THC, CBD, marijuana, it's never killed anybody who took it. Never. As far as I can tell, there were no actual side effects from CBD oil at all. But they took it off him. This is one of the problems I have with Jeremy Corbyn. He's always been great on marijuana reform. He's always said it needs to be legalised. And then his manifesto came out in 2017, I think, 2016, 2017. And in it, they said they only support legalisation of marijuana for medicinal use. Why? Why? Why are you doing a half-assed measure like that, Corbyn? You know that you're legalising it is the right thing to do, but he's watering down what he truly believes. And this is why one of the reasons why I really have a problem with Corbyn over this sort of thing. I feel like, you know, one of the things I like him for is because I like his policies. His policies are radical and the right thing to do. And he's watering them down. He's becoming Bernie Sanders almost. It's only happened on 2 or 3 occasions so far, but it's starting to happen more regular. And I suppose this is politics and it has to be done, but I just don't like it. I wish he would have the courage of his convictions. He knows what to do. He knows the right thing to do here. Legalise it, tax it, regulate it. Because otherwise, children like Billy Caldwell and other people as well who are going through, it mentioned chemotherapy there. I know for a fact that marijuana is great for people who are nauseous, or who are nauseated, who are going through chemotherapy. It's one of the only things that stops them being sick. And there are many other applications as well, many other applications of which there is a strong amount of evidence now that cannabis really will help them with things such as, I believe Alzheimer's is one of them. There are so many that it can help that it's not. All because, as far as I can tell, this is my opinion, but as far as I can tell, the only reason they won't legalise it is because it will help people. And if it helps people, people will stop taking the prescription drugs. If marijuana does the same thing, they'll stop taking the prescription drugs. And obviously, the pharmaceutical companies will lose money as a result. That's my theory anyway. That's the only thing I can come up with, because this makes no sense. It makes no sense to keep this drug that has never killed anybody, that is far less severe than other drugs that are legal to take. And it's Schedule 2 or Schedule B or whatever it's called. It's up there with ketamine and cocaine. It's not that kind of drug. It's not that kind of drug. And I'm really glad that they've saw sense here, but it really does make me angry that this little boy had to suffer just because Sajid Javid and the Home Office and some more than his job's worth bloody bureaucrat couldn't do the right thing. He had to wrap it up in red tape. It infuriates me, it really does. Cannabis should be legalised. If you legalise it, you can tax it, you can regulate it, and it will help millions of people in this country. Don't do a half-assed measure and say medicinal. Just come out, do it. Legalise it, tax it, regulate it. For the sake of common sense. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, please subscribe and please click the bell down there so you get a notification of when I drop further videos. Otherwise, YouTube will hide the video from you. Yes, they have admitted that they do that. Also, we're facing an absolute onslaught in independent media from the establishment at the moment, including YouTube. I don't make any money from YouTube whatsoever. I rely totally on the audience for me to continue doing this. So if you can afford to send me $2, $3, $5, whatever it is that you can afford through Patreon, again, the link is down there, I will be eternally grateful, and it'll allow me to keep giving you the truth and cut through the propaganda and the BS that we get from the corporate and establishment media. If you can't afford to do it, please share the video as wide as you can. Talk to your friends and family about the issues that I and other channels on YouTube who are independent raise. Thanks very much for your support. We have to fight back against this. Till next time, peace and take care.